Are you looking closely at this face? This is the face of someone who has just sat through a horribly rendered, horribly executed, horribly written animated feature. I am talking the monster that the entertainment industry has decided to name Dragon's Destiny of Fire.
Just by looking at the film, you can tell that you're getting yourself into some garbage. But that's not all. This is a very rare film that I've only been able to find on YouTube with Spanish audio, though granted there was one I found that had English subtitles. Just the same though, I suffered through it, and boy did I suffer. An English dub does reportedly exist, but I haven't been able to find it. That's probably for the best though, because I bet it'd be just as bad, and goodness knows how terrible this is in its native language. Since I haven't been able to find an English dub, all the lines of English you'll be hearing will be my own translated version from the English subtitles of that one version. Many fans of the video game franchise known as Spyro the Dragon will notice many similarities between this film and the Legend of Spyro trilogy, and have labeled it as a ripoff, though the film came out about 3 months before the first Legend of Spyro game came out. So, which one's the ripoff?
Do I care? Not really, because this film... I guess I have to show it, don't I? Well, might as well. But if you're looking to keep your sanity, I suggest you stop watching now. I'm sure there are other reviews you could be watching. Well, you think you're brave, don't you? Well, let me put your bravery to the test. I bet that in the next 3 minutes you're gonna chicken out, okay? That's my bet. 3 minutes starting now. Let's go.
Not kidding, we get more than a whole minute of 2 logos before we get some backstory, where a dragon war is underway. After a bit, we hear that one of the dragon's sons must be taken away to safety from all the violent war, after which we get some flybys. You don't really need all that. If I want to see a bunch of flybys one by one, I go experience soaring around the world at Disneyland. Also notice, it keeps dipping the black between each flyby. Why? What's the problem with just using a normal fade? Then we cut to a family of, I guess, condors. I'm only saying I guess because they look hideous as crap. That's a major issue with the film. The character designs have Uncanny Valley written all over them. Not to mention, they are the foster family for the baby dragon that was sent away from his home in the film's opening. When that egg hatches, Gah! Get them out away from me! Look how hideous that looks!
What are these designs?
Were they intentionally going out of their way to make the worst designs possible for an animated feature-length film? If so, they did a pretty darn good job. That thing! Ah! The little dragon is named Sinchi, and here's an interesting piece of trivia. He is a vegetarian.
He could not swallow the tasty meat that his parents got them. He was quickly discovering that, although it seemed strange, he was a vegetarian condor.
Now, why exactly is that strange? Is this film trying to tell us this dragon is a vegetarian? Kind of a strange trait for a dragon, if you can even call him that!
And on top of that, as he grew up, it was more and more obvious that because of how different he was to his brothers, he was the subject of ridicule.
What a belly flop! Fat and blue! Ah! A pretty pig like us, instead of that ugly and horrible snout! And that big, chubby belly!
Now, where have I heard of that kind of protagonist before?
You thought Sinchi looked ugly? Get a load of this. This is a firefly named Lily, who is sad because she has no one to share her supposed beauty with. Seriously, why can they never make good CGI designs that don't look like... Jeez, they're so horrifying that I can't even come up with a proper analogy for them. They're that terrifying to stare at.
Hi. How rude!
She's so hideous, even the other animals want nothing to do with her. Can't say I blame them.
Then we get back to Sinchi, who finds some feathers in the cave and tries using them to fly, but he drops like a sack of potatoes and falls on top of Lily. Do we really need the slow motion here?
He'll drown! He doesn't know how to swim!
He can't swim! Save him!
What do you call this? I mean, it doesn't look good, but he's swimming.
Looks like 3 minutes have elapsed. You still here? You are? Just wait.
Here's a bit of bad writing. Sinchi saved Lily's life, but she's not very grateful for it.
Are you okay? Assassin!
Really? That's your initial response? Why not a simple thank you, or whatever identifies as gratitude? Why not assume that he dropped on you by accident? But then his parents reunite with him, and Lily has some of the strangest ways of describing how Sinchi is not a condor.
He doesn't have feathers. Not a beak. He has a tail, 4 legs.
Whoa, let me stop you right there. He has 2 legs. 2! 1, 2! This is not the more common quadruped dragon. This is a biped. 2 legs! Was this script written before it was officially decided that the main character ought to have 2 legs instead of 4? If so, why didn't they just write down the lines?
Then there's this Puma who, since Sinchi can't fly, offers to help him get back home after he spends the night with him. And his condor parents seem to be okay with him spending the night with a complete stranger. I guess they care less about Sinchi than I do, if that's even possible.
It's still too early to go and rest.
But it's not even late enough so that you can't start on your way. How lazy are these writers? Not to mention, Sinchi gives off the creepiest smile in this shot.
What are you guys? I'm a puma, and I'm a firefly. The only firefly in existence in the entire world. The only one, and the last one.
Wait a minute, she's the only living firefly left? That can't be right. That's very contradictory to what the real world experiences with fireflies. They're not this badly threatened to the point where there's only one firefly, so this movie must be set in the very distant future, despite it not seeming like such. Look at this animation of the puma blowing on the campfire. Only his head and his tail ever move. That's just lazy. They set off in the morning, and he meets up with his brothers, who continue to mock him.
Hey, look at me! I'm Sinchi! Here I go! I'm gonna fly!
He's been through plenty at this point. He almost drowned. Leave him alone.
I am so tempted to label this film under the horrendously mean-spirited category.
But when he gets back, his condor parents aren't around. So Lily suggests they take a look in the cave.
Just a labyrinth of caverns and passageways. Let's go investigate. No, you'll get lost. We're not allowed in there.
They make their way through the cavern and find this medallion, which clues in Sinchi that he is not a condor, meaning he's got some questions he needs answers to. By the way, this walking animation is phenomenal, isn't it?
You told me I was a condor, when in reality I am not. What am I? It's true that I found an egg in this cave, and I took it to your mother. A beloved son. No! I am not your son! In fact, I'm not even a condor!
After applying the medallion and leaving the cave, that's when a female dragon makes her arrival. Whoa! Is she trying to pose all sexy to make us forget we're watching literal nightmare fuel?
I've come for John John. John John? The talisman that you're wearing helped me find you.
What? The dragon is actually named John John?
You're the only son of King John.
Why such a normal name for a dragon? Where did they even come up with such an uninspired name?
What would be a good name for the protagonist of this movie?
John?
This is gonna be an annoying process, isn't it?
John?
John. Every day. John. Perfect!
John!
Yeah?
Did you come up with a name for the protagonist yet?
Sure did. His name is John.
I'm too high to think of any better name, so yeah, John it is.
Go me!
This dragon, named Marina, tells of how John is expected to make his return to the Dragon Kingdom according to a prophecy stating how he'll overcome those that conquered it and set his kind free.
Oh, now there's a prophecy.
Then in order to boost John's courage, she transforms his tiny weak body into a taller...
A dashing and handsome dragon.
Admittedly better looking dragon, but I wouldn't call him dashing or handsome.
Now, in a matter of only a few minutes after getting this new body, he's now able to fly perfectly. Because screw development, right? This would be a great time to mention that every few minutes in this feature, they shove in this monkey character that is just the absolute worst comic relief in any film, period. He serves no relation to the story. He's just shoved on screen, he picks something up, licks it, then gets easily decimated or whatever else. Rinse, repeat, throughout the rest of the freaking movie. Why they thought this would be a good idea is beyond me.
Just to make sure you don't go absolutely insane, I won't point out every clip that uses this monkey, because that monkey... the movie's torture enough without him!
But anyway, they say goodbye to their friends as they're about to take off.
I hope you'll be very happy, and I hope that you liberate your people, and that the rest of the dragons won't be as unpleasant as that one. Hey, what do you have against Marina?
I may not care for her either, but in the context of the film, that's a legit question. What does Lily have against Marina? Yes, she says she doesn't trust her, but why doesn't she trust her? Is that how she's gonna be with just about everyone she meets for the first time?
Well, it's no wonder you don't have any friends.
Moving on from that, John comes back to his brothers to take revenge on them for all the torture he's been given from them.
I've come to thank you for having made my life impossible since the day I was born. Don't abuse your power, John.
Honestly, they deserve it.
But more striking than the fact that he even tortures them, how are they still alive after this? He says goodbye to his parents and they take off. And as they're flying, we hear the theme song in the movie, which, in all honesty, doesn't really sound that bad. But it gets ruined by the awful looking flying animations. Look at this, his wings stop moving completely and he flies on down. Did anyone on the crew take animating 101? Back with Lily. She seems to miss John already, despite only knowing him for a few minutes.
He's irresponsible, and if something happens to him, what could happen to him? What if she leads him into a trap? What if she's a spy of the Vil... I don't know.
Oh, sorry, I just died for a minute there. My fuel is reason, and I'm not seeing it. You're just being paranoid.
But she flies out to look for John, who is out in the forest training in combat with Marina. Let me add, is it just me or does this fight scene look like something out of a deleted cutscene from a PlayStation 1 game? It's obnoxious, awkward, and it's ugly as sin. But once that's done, Marina's now teaching John about breathing fire in the middle of the forest! Yeah, great idea!
Want to try it?
Come on, film, you're more dignified than that! Stop it! For goodness sake, just stop!
The future of the kingdom is in your hands, and all you can think of is joking about.
Do you hear that, writers? Do you hear that? When making a movie, you can't slack off! Put the Game Boy away and use your brains! That is, if you even have brains!
Gee, I wonder whose bright idea this was to set the whole forest on fire just to get the Chosen One to save the world. Then the two are swimming, even though Marina just said they don't have time to play around. Now, a training montage.
How dare you associate an awesome song with a crappy movie? You're so shameless!
After that's done, John is finally able to do the fire breathing correctly, and by that time, the animals are confronting them about the forest fire. John takes this well.
If you don't leave before I count to 3, I'll barbecue you. 1, John, 3!
Ladies and gentlemen, our protagonist.
Wonder what kind of excuse he'll come up with for this.
They asked for it. They interrupted your class.
Mr. John, your disruptive behavior is urging an expulsion from the school. Pack up your stuff and go. Okay, you made your point!
They find a place to spend the night, and of course get interrupted by Lily.
You're destroying the jungle! What do you think? Because you're dragons, you have the right to do whatever you want? I have to train the prince for the war that awaits him.
Okay, but could you please not do it in a freaking forest? Otherwise you wouldn't have this sacred guardian confront you with the crime.
He has terrible powers. He can transform himself and transform other things. Then he should transform himself. He's hideous.
Come to think of it, he should also transform everyone else, including myself. I mean, I can't attend the red carpet premiere looking like this.
I have come to do justice. Oh, how scary. What do we do, Marina? He's going to punish us.
As punishment, the Guardian shrinks the dragons down to the size of mice.
I order you to return us to our size.
You still haven't caught on, have you?
But of course, being tiny means they can't fly or breathe fire. What, is that part of the Guardian's magic curse? But now they have to run, or rather march like a toy soldier and fast forward, away from the giants. And that leopard, he's drifting off to the side, what the heck? Then comes the part where they reenact a scene from The Fugitive and leap down the waterfall to escape. Following that chase scene is...
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Another chase scene, because we really needed that, didn't we? After that, they think they're safe. We get another chase scene, this time hummingbirds.
Except this one is worse.
Because they literally just run back and forth, back and forth. Why? Okay, now they're running in one direction, and once again jump off a freaking cliff. Wait a minute! Was that a boy riding a bike in front of the moon making an E.T. reference?
Okay, review over. Huh? Oh, great. Someone must have put super glue on my seat. I have a feeling I won't be able to leave until I'm done reviewing this movie. Okay, I guess I'll do it.
They hide out for the night, and before they rest, John tries to reassure Marina that the prophecy will be fulfilled despite their now short stature. I don't know why, but I feel like this kind of scene should have it vice versa, like the chosen one should be the uncertain one. Doesn't matter, because in the morning, Lily finds them again and tells them of an antidote to break the spell that is of course in a dangerous place that no one managed to retrieve it from.
I could take you there, but under one condition. You will bring me with you to your land.
So we can sacrifice you to our gods for being such a little twerp? Sure!
And here we have more awful writing after Lily stops Marina from stepping on a sharp thorn.
You're supposed to be helping us. Instead, you dedicate yourself to bothering her.
I mean, he has a point. That doesn't make him right, but he has a point. They reach this dangerous place and see this tree where the magical fruit antidote is. Here in the water, we see a lake filled with piranhas and eels. Apparently, John, for whatever reason, gets the idea to absorb the energy of an eel.
This eel's energy strengthens me. I can recover the power that they took away from me. It works! It works!
At this point, I just stopped caring.
Our heroes then make a raft to row their way to the tree, which hasn't been easy since, they have to deal with piranhas, both the small kind and the humongous kind that surfaces right underneath and doesn't even move. But when they're fighting the small piranhas, even though John has his powers back, he doesn't use them! Seriously?
So how do they stop this giant piranha?
Don't move! Hold on! Careful! John! John!
Sorry, can you run that by me again?
Movie apparently has no time to explain. And look, the dragons got the same walk cycle in this scene. And these leopards, what kind of walk is that? Why are they walking like that? Okay, now you use your fire powers. Then there's these turtles who... seizure walk? Are they trying to simulate turtles being slow despite their feet moving really quickly? This looks more awkward than anything. But no matter, they make it to the magic fruit and suddenly get caught.
Don't do anything to them! I'm the only one at fault! I deserve this. But Lily, you don't.
But it turns out the creature that caught them is the Sacred Guardian, who forgives our heroes by using the fruit to return them to their normal size.
You have a mission to complete, Prince John. I am no one to impede it. What you were, return to it.
Kind of interesting that he already knows who John is and still tried to have him killed. That would be like if in the NeverEnding story, Atreyu, the Chosen One, the luck dragon Falkor being fully aware, yet tries to incinerate him before eventually deciding to help out. I can see that the idea here is that John John is asking for forgiveness, but why did they need this to be part of the movie? To add to the runtime? They couldn't come up with any clever way to make a feature film from this, so they resorted to whatever gimmicks possible just to make this an 80-minute film? That is just lazy. John John leaves Lily with the Guardian because she wouldn't survive the intense heat below, and takes off with Marina. Oh look, another freaking cliff!
Are you scared? Of course not. It looks really deep. It is!
You darn wuss, I thought you very quickly learned to fly after gaining this taller form. Once they get in, they sneak past the guards and find that the dragons that were made slaves are forced to breathe fire in that ball of fire called the Great Mo.
Accumulated during all these years of slavery. Accumulated for what? To launch it at the surface and overheat the earth. But if they do it, they'd end all life on the earth. That's the idea.
They're ending all life on Earth? Does that basically mean they're planning to commit a suicide genocide of all life forms on Earth? Great plan, fellas!
Who's that? King John. Your father.
Again, I must ask, why out of all possible names did they choose such a normal name? They're dragons! At least John John's foster name, Sinchi, actually sounded like a decent dragon name, but all of a sudden, he turns out to have just been given a normal name. And it's not just John, it's John John. Sorry to bring up that point again, but I just can't get over it.
Name? Mario. Last name? Mario.
Then, very stupidly, John John and Marina reveal themselves very quickly into the wheel tracks, and after a really choppy fight scene, seriously, look how bad this looks. Get a load of this scene where the villain kicks our heroes down on their faces. Or wait, does he? It doesn't look like his feet even hit their backs, it looks more like they hit the ground. But regardless, they get captured.
Here, the only way to get something is by fighting. Then it will have to be violently. You and me, even the weakest dragon in my army, would be able to defeat you.
Dude, he was destroying your troops not long before he was caught. I don't think you'd want to go on making that claim.
I prefer to sacrifice you to the eternal fire in front of your kind.
Sure, whatever ends the movie faster.
Then there's one final battle, which looks like absolute garbage, and don't forget the Matrix references! And the villain tries to harness the fireball's energy to destroy John John, but as his medallion activates, Lily stops by to save the day by annoying the crap out of the villain.
I'm a sweet firefly who's come to help a friend!
Even without Lily, John John would still use his fire breath, using the power of the medallion to push the villain into the fiery pit. But wait, it's not over yet!
Did you think it would be so easy? Impossible. Nobody can withstand that much energy.
And it turns out, King John is absolutely right, as the villain combusts and everyone is set free.
Victory! Victory!
Lily says goodbye to John John before he makes his way to the ceremony, but first makes an emotional speech.
You have a face more sad than the one you had when you thought you were a condor, and I told you that you were not. Ciao, John John.
But at the ceremony, John John decides that he doesn't want to leave Lily behind and refuses his new position as king. Yeah, kinda crappy, isn't it? It's supposed to be liberating, but it's still very crappy, don't you think? Just to force a little something at the end, he even comes back to his Condor family. I seem to remember that he actually got cold up in the surface world, so why would he not stay in the dragon realm? This makes no sense!
And that was Dragon's Destiny of Fire. What the heck was that?
It does everything wrong. The animation, the characters, the story. Everything! Every second of it is a waste of life. It's like you die every minute, only to be resurrected 1 second after just to suffer through more pain. It's like they've never seen an actual good film in their entire life.
Please tell me the super glue on the sea wore off. Oh! Guess this means the review is over. Goodbye, and I hope you're still sane!